chapter 6 stuff, finding zeros of polynomials. Make sure you're ready for that on Monday. That does not get changed. It does. Okay, so we have a bell ringer, and then we're going to do applications of polynomials. This lesson won't take me a very long time, which is good because we don't have a very long time. The bell ringer is not anything that you're going to have to do new. It is an extension of what we did yesterday, a hard problem that I left off of your homework and left off of the notes, because I doubt you'll ever see one of this difficulty level, but maybe you will. So I want to show you how it works if you were to see it. If you had me for pre-AP Algebra 2, you had to do a lot of these. But it's just an extension. You won't ever have, well, you won't have to do this, maybe a bonus problem or something, but other than that, this is not going to be on new homework. I just wanted you to get to see me work with I involved as a zero. So the first question said, given that 3i is a zero, answer the following questions. What else must be a zero if 3i is a zero? And it says negative 3i. Why? Right, if you get 3i as a zero, that came from taking the square root of negative 9, right? You're going to take the square root of negative 9 and get a 3i. You're going to get a negative 3i as well. So those are, if 3i is a zero, then negative 3i is a zero as well. Use synthetic division to divide out both of those zeros. And this is what you've never seen before, and I just want to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to divide the 3i out. One times 3i is 1 plus 3i is 1 plus 3i, right? You can see why it's a tougher problem. Does everyone understand why that's just 1 plus 3i? They are not like terms that you can't add them. Take notes, do this. What if it shows up as a bonus problem? You might want to know how to do it. 3i times 1 plus 3i gives you 3i plus 9i squared. Really quick, does anyone remember what I squared is? Negative 1. So that's 3 minus 9, which is 3i minus 6. Good so far? Then you multiply 3i by 3i minus 6, and you get 9i squared minus 18i. And again, what is the I squared? Negative 1, so what happens to the two 9s? Cancel, and you're left with negative 18i. Negative 18 times 3 is negative 54i squared. And again, I squared is negative 1, so I get a 0 here, which I should. Okay, so that was fun. Now I'm going to take those coefficients and divide out negative 3i. That's not going to fit. Right, it would be right here. So, now I'm going to divide out negative 3i. Add down, multiply. This is turning out nice now, isn't it? Negative 3i's cancel and just give me a 1. Positive 3i and negative 3i cancel, and I just get negative 6.
Why are you doing this again?
Because it said to divide out both zeros.
Obviously.
Which gives me an x squared plus x minus 6. Which factors into x plus 3 and x minus 2. So then it says find all solutions to the polynomial. 3i, negative 3i, negative 3 and 2. Again, probably more difficult than you will ever see, but I wanted you to see me work one of this difficulty level. I didn't make you do it, I made me do it, so I hope that's, I could have given you a bunch of these on your homework, I did not.
Thank you. You got some good points.
I'm lacking in those.
Yeah. You lost a few. About a week ago, you lost some stuff.
Oh yeah,
You lost a few.
You added some homework problems to us.
I gave you homework, it was terrible.
What are those shapes?
Okay, so today, calculus visual.
I was just wondering.
Calculus, what is calculus?
Good stuff.
How do you do it?
So, today the new stuff is applications of polynomials. You could probably do this without me teaching. Mainly we're going to look at polynomials in the calculator and answer some application questions on them. We've done application problems in every chapter we've done so far, so this is not anything new, it's just a different function type in the word problem. So it says, and I didn't write this problem, otherwise I probably would have gotten more cool points, but I can't claim it. In my first class thought I wrote it because it was goofy, but I didn't. A population of geese has contracted a rare geese disease called quackalauticus. Because I didn't make it up. I didn't do it. It is wiping out the geese population rapidly in a small town of Love to Quack. You've discovered the geese population can be modeled by this function. What is the number of days from the first case of the disease, where T is the number of days from the first case of the disease. If no one can stop the spread of quackalauticus, when will the geese population be extinct? I guess it kills them. So, what's the first thing I need to do? What am I even looking for? When y equals 0, right? I want to know when the population is 0. So I'm going to put this in my y equals. Do that for me. I'm going to join you. The hardest part, as I imagine you've learned so far, the hardest part of word problems is setting your window generally. Okay, so in your y equals, you have that function, and you don't see anything if you have your window set at negative to the 10. As with any function that I don't know how to graph, sorry, I'm going to go to my table, find a couple of points to kind of fill out how big the y values are and where I should be. So if you go to your table, and type 0, you get 1200. If you type 10, you get 1190, so you notice you're going down. If you type 30, you get 498. If you type 100, you get negative. So I need to go at least to 100. Does everyone agree on why I would do that? For my x's, I need to go from 0 to 100. And what should my y's be at? 500, maybe 1200 if I wanted to see the whole graph because that was the highest y value I saw. Okay, if you go put 0 in y2, then you can use an intersection button to find that intersection.
For the 30 on the table, did you get 488 or 588?
I got 498. fraction factor on?
Didn't work.
Negative 0.024
Put
x.
1.6.
Uh-oh, look at that. See, I'll know how to do this. How should we teach this class? Okay. Thank you. Second trace. If you have 0 and y2, you can go to second trace 5, push enter 3 times, and you get 37.131. 37.131 what? Any questions about that?
It's killing them pretty rapidly.
It is. So it must be a rough thing. Maybe geese can't quack.
Kills them. Stay home.
Oh, I didn't make the problem. Okay, but it was fun. So a company has found that a daily profit for producing and selling a product is given by this profit function, where x is the number of hundreds of units produced. What's the first thing I'm going to do even before I probably read the questions? Get it in my graph, get a good picture of the function. So negative 0.2x cubed. This is the last problem of the day, by the way. I still have my window set where it was last time. You can tell it's not a very good window for this. You can probably tell the Y's need to be much larger to see a good picture of this graph. Remember, as always, you can go to your table and type in some numbers. You notice at 30, it's 11,466. So it's pretty tall. I'm going to make my Y max like 50,000. I didn't change my x's, but it might not hurt to change your x's to be a little bigger as well, just in case there's anything going on past that point.
Don't you put your x max as?
Just now I did 500. It looks like after doing that, 100 would have been good. It doesn't seem to cross the x-axis again after that. Now, determine the level of production that gives you a break even. Well, what's a break even in profit? 0, right? So, how many answers should I get? 2. So I'm going to go to second trace 5, push enter 3 times, and I get 100. And then if you go to the second trace 5 and move over to the left hand 0 and push enter 3 times, you get 4. And neither one of those are the correct answer.
I still got 4. I got 4 and negative.
Come show me. Someone tell me why the answer of 4 and the answer of 100 would not be very good answers for number of units that give you a break even.
I got 4 for the first one.
Because your window's not big enough. And you're close to it.
4.
Yeah.
It's negative 1.
So if I change this to 100, and this to 15,000, and remember I used my table to do that. There's 1 there, but there's another one over here. Why do I leave negatives out? I'm not going to produce a negative amount of units. So, why not 4 and 100?
It's the
anything in Y2. You're trying to find an intersection. What are you intersecting? Type it. Oh gosh, what should you put in Y2? But not, you have to use this. Good. X is in hundreds of units. So it's not 4 units, it's 400 units. And 100 hundreds. Right? Oops. 100 hundreds. On this one I added 2 zeros, right?
What are you supposed to put next?
0. So 10,000, 400 and 10,000 units. How much profit could you expect to see if you produced 5,000 units? Well, what do you plug in?
Put that in for it.
5,000?
50.
50. Why 50? Someone who has their table close, do that for me.
What in?
50.
Give me a sec.
You get 23,600. 690.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome. I got it.
Any cents? Any cents?
Does that have any sense? No.
No, any dollars and cents?
No.
Did you arrow over to the right-hand column? It's even. Awesome. Okay, any questions about that one? How many units do they need to produce to make $10,000? Well, how am I going to do that? Go into Y2, and instead of having 0 in Y2, put 10,000. So I put 10,000 in Y2, that's where this line that's eventually coming through comes from. There are 2 places. 94.209. Will someone write 94.209 down?
Got it.
Move over to the left. And 27.689. So, you have 2 options. I'm going to move that decimal place 2 places, right? Since it's hundreds. So, how many units? Either, what was it, 20?
94.209.
Is everyone okay with why that ended up being 9,420.9? Good. And then what about this one? 20. Yeah, I think it was something like that. 2,768.9. I need to move those decimal places 2 times since I've got hundreds of units. How many units would you advise them to produce in order to receive a maximum profit? Yes. So I'm going to go to the calculator, and now you know why it's important that I see that maximum on this particular problem. Up until this point, it would have been okay if I couldn't see it. I'm going to go to second trace number 4. I'm going to go to the maximum and go to the left and push enter, to the maximum, and then to the right and push enter again. And I get 67.122 and
6,712.
good, and 28,482. Now I've got to decide which one's which. Which one's units and which one's profit? Good, profit's the Y, units is the X, and remember with units, because I'm in hundreds of units, I'm going to move that decimal place 2 places over. to get those hundreds of units. So I have, so part A, 6,712.161 units. And then part B, 28,482.59. No need to move the decimal place on money. Any questions? Homework? Get started.